Hello and welcome to another episode of the e-commerce coffee break. Today I want to talk about why and how e-commerce brands underutilize SMS text marketing. Most of them think it's old-fashioned, which is completely wrong because actually it's a very profitable marketing channel. Therefore, I have a guest today on the show, Osa Gaius. He is the founder and CEO of Parrot at getparrot.com. Parrot is a mobile payment platform that helps companies to sell products directly to their customers over text and collect one-click payments. Osa is a former vice president of BlackRock, where he was building and leading the R&D team working on next-gen fintech products. Before starting Parrot, he led the payments at MailChimp. He was building products for millions of small businesses there. And one thing that I really find really cool is in his free time, he makes rap mixtapes. So we will dive into that maybe a little bit later in this chat. First of all, hi, Osa, how are you today?
Doing well. Thank you for having me on the podcast.
You're welcome. Also, give me a bit of a background. Where you're coming from? What got you into SMS text marketing?
Yeah, good question. So, when I was working at MailChimp a few years ago, what we realized was that email marketing was starting to not produce the same kinds of conversion rates and results that brands were looking for. It worked if you wanted to email a bunch of people and get them to your website, but if you wanted them to actually transact, the open rates weren't really where they needed to be, think 10 years ago. And so we knew that SMS was coming, especially given that the regulations were changing, particularly in the US and Canada, to allow businesses for the first time to really text consumers at scale, reach out, regularly to their consumers and say, hey, we have this new product we want you to buy. And what we kind of realized was that being able to actually transact over texting was going to be a big part of the future once brands really got, email and SMS working together for their business.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, SMS last 2 years, I think, was a big topic. I think still a lot of brands are shying away from it because you just mentioned there are some legal aspects to it to have it implemented in the right way. But why do you think it's worth going that route and really implementing SMS marketing?
Yeah. So one stat that I like to kind of have brands think about is that 80% of all e-commerce traffic is now mobile, right? So if you look at your traffic for your website, this is something important for you to do for yourself is go on your own reports dashboard, whatever you're using, and say how many people are coming to my website from a phone versus how many people are coming to my website from a computer. And if you see that a large amount of people are coming to you from a phone, then it's really important that you be able to have a conversation with them on the device they're using. If you send them an email, they're probably checking on their laptop, maybe a couple of days after you send it. But if you send them a text message, you are now talking to them on the same device they're shopping and browsing your products on, and you can have a real conversation and you can actually help them learn more, even if they're not ready to transact yet.
Mm-hmm. Keyword, real conversation there. So
Yeah.
obviously you approach people differently with SMS marketing. Give me a little bit of a background. How does that work?
Yeah, so I think most people think of email marketing as primarily push, right? You're sending an ad essentially to someone's inbox and you're hoping they open the ad, right? That's email marketing, and that's what it's been for the last 15, 20 years. I think a lot of brands come to SMS thinking, well, it's a text message, so it's kind of like a smaller version of the same email ad that I would send, and I'm just going to shove that into Klaus's phone. But what we tell people is that is the wrong way to think about SMS, and that's the way to think about it if you want to get people to unsubscribe or to report you to their carrier. The right way to think about SMS is I'm not pushing an ad to your phone. Instead, I'm sending a message similar to the one that I would send to a friend from my brand to my friend saying, hey, here's something exciting I want you to know about vis-a-vis my brand, or here's something interesting for you in particular because I know your phone number, I know what you bought before. And so it might be harder for you as a brand to think about things this way because it's not just a simple push something to someone's phone, but we think that's the right way to do it if you want SMS to be a core channel for you over the next 10 years.
Mm-hmm. So what you're saying basically is that you need to have somebody who's dedicated to track the conversations and really being responsive on whatever comes back from the client. Is that right?
Yeah, and for most people we talk to, you already have a customer support team, right? You already have people who are engaging in conversations with your best customers. And so we think that's the right place to start thinking about it. Now, you may think of it as really hard to scale as a brand because having conversations with every potential customer might not be the right way to spend your time. But we think thinking about the things that way allows you to design even your non-interactive SMS communication in a way that still feels organic and natural. So for instance, I could send a discount code to you every day and say, hey, please go to my website and buy. Or I could instead say, hey, folks who are on my list, here's something exciting about the brand story that's changed. Here's a piece of historical information about how we got started as a brand. So those kinds of things make sense if you're thinking about having conversations, but as you just called out, it might not make sense to do those kinds of things if you think of SMS as just a way to shove things into people's phones.
Mm-hmm. Now, SMS messages getting read a lot more than emails. So people tend to read them much more than, because they're more directly on their phone. It's not as overcrowded as an email inbox. Obviously, a lot of tools that I have seen, they have quiet hours in there so that you're only supposed to send during the daytime, not middle in the night. What else would you sort of recommend to do it the right way so that you do not, briefly said, or do not piss off your customer?
Yeah, no, that I like how you phrase it. I mean, the stat we're seeing across the industry is that 90% of SMS messages from a business will get read, whereas 10% of emails will get read. But the good thing about that is people are going to read the message if you send it. The bad thing about that, as you kind of call that, is if the message is annoying or it seems like spam, people would then associate the brand with spam because 90% of them will see it, right? They'll think about it as something that they don't want to see again. And so what we tell people is, first, make sure whatever you're offering is worth the text, right? It's worth me reading it. It's worth me even looking at it in the first place, because I'm more than likely going to see it at some point during my day when you send it in the morning. You call that quiet hours. We recommend you only send people text messages between 8 a.m. Their time and 8 p.m. Really 5 to 5. So think of it as essentially business hours. That's the only time you should text people, to make sure that you're not, catching folks at a time when they're driving their kids to school in the morning or when they're getting ready for bed at night. The other thing we tell brands to think about is try to think of SMS not just as a way to market to people, but as a way to help them purchase more easily, because then you can start to tell people that SMS is a better way for them to engage with your business, right? And a reason to have a conversation with you, rather than just telling them that they should only just expect to get discount codes every week or every other week. I think the last thing we see people do that is not as big a problem when you're starting out early is getting opt-in wrong. So right now, if you get someone opted into your list for an SMS, you can legally send them a text message, but you shouldn't be doing things like trying to buy phone number lists or trying to go acquire phone numbers from other businesses. You should expect that the consumer will give you their phone number, and then you should take that very seriously, but don't try to buy numbers or do any other kind of shenanigans.
Yeah, very good tip there. Yeah, stay lean and do the right thing, and not trying to, as I said, buying lists first thing you can do. You started Parrot helping businesses with their SMS marketing. Tell me a little bit of what Parrot is and what kind of solution it offers.
Yeah, so Parrot is a radically different kind of SMS platform. Our focus at Parrot is not helping you really send messages to people to get them to go to your website or go, copy a discount code from the text message. Our focus is on helping you reach out to a customer and say, hey, we have this thing, do you want to buy it? And what Parrot does, because we're a mobile checkout solution, we actually complete the entire transaction in a text relationship. So for instance, if you're Nike, you'll send a shoe to someone and say, hey, do you want to buy the shoe? Parrot, if the person replies yes, will ask for their size using our artificial intelligence system and actually collect the payment from them directly over text. So for you as a brand, all you'll see are orders show up in your store, but for your consumer on their end, they're actually directly purchasing from you over that text message. You can put Parrot on your website, so you can actually have people start on your website and check out with their phone number there. Or if you've got a bunch of phone numbers you've collected over the last couple of years, you can put those in Parrot, send your product to a bunch of people, and they can transact over text. So it's SMS marketing with transactions, but the way we describe it to most people is it's a different way to do mobile checkout, and it treats your phone number as your credit card so that you can transact more easily.
Sounds like a very interesting solution. I've never heard about anything like that. How does it work? How does the payment process work? You say it works with phone number?
Yeah, so Parrot is also a payment facilitator. So we, on your behalf, will process credit cards. So let's say, for instance, you're a brand that sells T-shirts. This is actually a real example of one of our customers. They came to us and said, we release T-shirts every other month or sometimes twice a month. We want to announce that to our list so that the people who are interested can reply yes, pick their size, and then when they're ready, supply their credit card directly to Parrot so that Parrot can save that credit card for later whenever they want to reply yes to a different text message. And so what that looks like for a brand on the other end is you give us some phone numbers, you give us the product you want to sell, and we send that to those people. And then we collect the money from those people, those credit card fees, and when we just send that directly to your order management system, whether that's Shopify or BigCommerce or Magento.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you already answered my next question. What would be the integration into existing systems? So you have the big ones, as I said, Shopify. What else?
BigCommerce is the other big one we're working with, and Magento and Salesforce Cloud are actually on our roadmap for later this year.
Mm-hmm. How do you build up? Is the list built up, the list of phone numbers built up in your system, or do you connect to third-party systems like Klaviyo or MailChimp or anything?
Yeah, so the first time you start with Parrot, you'll have no phone numbers in our system, and you can import those in from Klaviyo or Mailchimp. But what we've also built is some simple functionality that gives your brand a phone number as soon as you sign up. That way, you have a number that you can always use to collect payments from your customers directly over text. And then when people are ready to buy from you but may not be on your list, they can simply text into that number, and we'll automatically add them to your list. So we recommend people bring their lists to us when they already have them, and we'll help clean it and make sure everything's compliant when you import it in Parrot. And then we'll help you on a go forward basis start to actually collect more numbers and attach those numbers to credit cards.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Obviously, you do not provide this for free. What's kind of the pricing for the service? How does that work?
Yeah, so when we started Parrot, we realized that a lot of the folks in our space were focused primarily on SMS marketing. So it was their focus on getting you as a brand to send as many discount codes to people over the course of a month or a week, because their pricing was based on how many text messages you sent. So if you sent 1,000 text messages, the brand, the SMS marketing companies we were competing against were really happy because you as a brand were sending more messages and paying them more money. Parrot's model is radically different. We only charge you when you make a sale, when you collect a payment with Parrot, and that's a 1% fee. So you pay the 2.9% that you would regularly to process credit cards. We charge you an additional 1%. And so it is a somewhat more expensive solution. But what that allows us to do is to be aligned with your business. So you make money, you convert, we make money because we helped you convert that person to a sale. We don't price based on text messages or number of messages you send, and we don't think that's the right way to price in this space.
Yeah, I'm a store owner myself, and I really like this pricing scheme because otherwise you're just adding up monthly fees everywhere, and then at the end of the month, you're wondering where your profit margin or why your profit margin is so small. What would you recommend someone coming new to SMS marketing? How should they approach it? And also on that, what should be the timeline before you think you can get started with it?
Yeah, so if I was a brand and I was going to get started in SMS marketing in the next, let's call it 2 weeks, right, or 30 days, I'd say first of all, sit down with a piece of paper, right? Think about your brand, and then think about your favorite customer who's already shopped with you, or maybe just heard about your brand. Write a text message, right? Pull out your phone, write a text message from as your brand's ambassador to them. That's where I recommend people start with, because if you are writing a text message to someone who will shop, or someone who has shopped, it changes how you're thinking about marketing. It changes how you're thinking about reaching out to someone over text. So that's the first place. The second thing I'd say is think about your list building. Do you have a list of phone numbers already? Are those phone numbers that you acquired in a compliant way, as in the people know you were going to text them later when you got those numbers? And once you have those two things, once you have some idea of what you want to send people and a list of people you want to send it to, and I think the third thing is to decide on a platform. We recommend that you pick a platform that helps you not only send messages to people to announce things like sales and new products, but also helps you transact. That way, as you send more messages, you actually get more orders, and you're not just kind of measuring things like click-through rates and other sort of vanity metrics like that.
Okay, sounds great. Where can people find more about Parrot?
Yeah, if you want to learn more, please go to getparrot.com. That's GETPARROT.com. And we've got a live demo on there where you can try Parrot on your own phone with your own phone number. And then if you're interested more, you can contact sales@getparrot.com.
Cool. I will put this in the show links. Now, we didn't speak about making rap mixtapes. Oh, we'll speak about this in private after the call. But I'd like to thank you for your time. I think it gave a very good insight on why brands should utilize SMS text marketing, and with your solution that you directly can make the sales from there. I think that's a great approach. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
Talk soon. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, Klaus here. Before you leave, I have a question for you. Are you a Shopify store owner and you're feeling stuck, overwhelmed, and not sure what to do next to grow your business? Do you struggle to convert traffic into sales and turn website visitors into buyers? Do you want to have direct access to a mentor who can assist you with your store, your strategy, offer, marketing, sales, and anything else you might need in your business? Then I would invite you to apply for my Get Conversions program, where I show you how to remove the guesswork out of growing your Shopify business and create clarity to optimize your business for maximal growth and profit. This is an application-only program. To apply, go to klauslauter.com to learn more. And finally, please do not forget to subscribe, like, and comment. It's a huge help and allows me to reach more people with this channel. Thanks in advance, and until next time at the e-commerce coffee break.